Top 5 Pontiac Grand Prix. What's the best of all time? What if I told you that some of Pontiac's most brilliant creations have been hiding in plain sight for decades, and only true enthusiasts know which ones truly deserve the crown? The Pontiac Grand Prix stands as one of the most iconic and enduring nameplates in Pontiac's legendary history, stretching all the way from its debut in 1962 to its final bow in 2008, the same year the entire Pontiac brand would tragically fade into automotive history. Though the Grand Prix's final years were quiet throughout its nearly 5-decade lifespan, Pontiac delivered a series of truly memorable machines that blended power luxury and bold American styling in ways that still captivate enthusiasts today. Now, while models like the 1997 Grand Prix played a strong role in revitalizing Pontiac's image during the late 1990s, this list focuses on the classic Golden Era models, the ones that truly defined what the Grand Prix name stood for. Today we're counting down the 5 greatest Pontiac Grand Prix models of all time. And if you love deep dives into forgotten classics like this, be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss our next episode. (1963) Pontiac Grand Prix. In 1963, Pontiac introduced a bold new direction for the Grand Prix, with the debut of stacked headlamps setting it apart immediately from its contemporaries. The design took strong inspiration from the minimalist slab-sided elegance of the 1961 Lincoln Continental, with flat body panels, restrained chrome, and sharp, precise edges. The front fascia commands attention with its massive jet fighter-inspired dual air intake grille, while the stacked headlamps create a dramatic vertical focal point. Turn signals sit neatly inside the headlamp assemblies, completing a balanced, sophisticated front-end look. Moving to the rear, Pontiac emphasized width and presence, with full-width ribbed tail lamps giving the Grand Prix a broad, commanding stance that looked powerful even standing still. Inside, Pontiac went all out to deliver one of the finest interiors of its era. The transparent lucite steering wheel with its polished metal inlay exudes pure 1960s craftsmanship. The instrument cluster is carefully laid out with bright metal knobs, simulated wood grain accents, plush leather seats, power windows, and air conditioning features that were pure luxury in 1963. Every detail inside this Grand Prix screamed grand touring sophistication, blending muscle and class into one perfect American coupe. Under the hood, the standard power plant was Pontiac's proven 389 cubic inch V8, displacing 6.4 liters, topped with a 4-barrel carburetor. Officially rated at 303 horsepower at 4,600 RPM and a robust 430 pound-feet of torque, at 3,200 RPM, this V8 delivered plenty of punch for such a large coupe. With a compression ratio of 10.5 to 1, the 63 Grand Prix could launch from 0 to 60 mph in around 8.5 seconds and complete the quarter mile in approximately 16.2 seconds, impressive for a near 4,000-pound luxury muscle cruiser. However, the car's biggest drawback was the roto-hydromatic 3-speed automatic transmission. Known for its harsh 1-2 shifts and poor long-term reliability, this gearbox often frustrated owners. Many modern restorers opt to retrofit these cars with the far superior turbo-hydromatic transmissions to truly unlock the Grand Prix's smooth cruising potential. But as Pontiac moved into the mid-1970s, the Grand Prix would reach its absolute sales peak with an entirely new, more angular and muscular design. We want to hear from true muscle car fans. Share your stories, memories, or even your dream Grand Prix builds down in the comments. 1976, Pontiac Grand Prix SJ. By 1976, the Pontiac Grand Prix had fully embraced its role as America's personal luxury coupe king, and its sales numbers proved it. Riding on the platform introduced in 1973, the 76 Grand Prix featured only mild styling revisions, but remained one of the most attractive cars in its class. At the front, Pontiac's signature arrowhead emblem proudly sat atop the pointed nose, leading to a sharply defined waterfall-style grille. On the 1976 model, this grille featured a finer vertical slat pattern compared to the coarser bars used on the 77 model that followed. The long hood and upright stance gave it a sense of authority, almost like a reversed boat-tail design, perfectly blending muscle with elegance. The 1976 Grand Prix profile was pure 1970s Detroit design, long wide, with just the right touch of chrome trim to emphasize its upscale character. Hidden headlights, sweeping body lines, and the deeply recessed rear window made the Grand Prix unmistakable. Out back, large wraparound taillights flanked a massive chrome rear bumper, completing the car's imposing yet classy aesthetic. Inside, Pontiac didn't cut corners. The SJ package featured one of the most driver-centric dashboards of the era. The instrument panel wrapped around the driver, housing round rally gauges with a sporty look. This particular car sported the optional luxury 3-spoke steering wheel. Unfortunately, unlike earlier models, the wood grain trim was now simulated plastic rather than real wood. Still, the interior design language was rich, comfortable, and extremely well executed for its time. Deep bucket seats, center console shifter, and plush materials gave the Grand Prix SJ a premium atmosphere that few competitors could match. But the real reason the 1976 Grand Prix earns its spot here is what lived under the hood. This was the final year you could option Pontiac's legendary 455 cubic inch V8. Displacing 7.5 liters, this massive big block was paired with a 4-barrel Rochester quadrajet carburetor. However, due to tightening emissions, regulations output was heavily choked down to 200 horsepower at 3,600 RPM and 330 pound-feet of torque at a low 2,000 RPM. The compression ratio dropped to just 7.6 to 1, a far cry from the high-compression monsters of the late 60s. Still, that mountain of low-end torque made for effortless highway cruising. Mated to the rock-solid turbo-hydromatic 400 automatic 0-60 BTD came in around 9.8 seconds, with the quarter-mile completed in roughly 17.2 seconds. But Pontiac wasn't done yet. The best Grand Prix designs were still ahead, as we head into the golden age of curvaceous muscle luxury in the mid-60s. 1966, Pontiac Grand Prix. By 1966, Pontiac had taken the clean slab-sided design language of the early 60s and evolved it into one of the most curvaceous, elegant, and powerful Grand Prix models ever built. The 66 Grand Prix retained its stacked headlamp configuration, but departed from the strict formality of the 1963 model, embracing the now iconic Coke bottle silhouette that would define the era. The body sides bulged gracefully over the rear wheels, narrowing slightly at the waist, before flaring outward again, a sculpted muscularity that blended beauty with aggression. The front fascia showcased the classic Grand Prix wide grille, still jet fighter inspired, but now refined with tasteful ribbed chrome trim running horizontally beneath the headlamps. The parking lamps were nestled between the headlamps, just like on the 63, maintaining continuity with Pontiac's evolving design DNA. The hood featured crisp centerline creases that gave the long front end an added sense of movement, even at rest. The rear of the 1966 Grand Prix is considered by many enthusiasts to be among the finest Pontiac ever designed. Full-width ribbed tail lamps extended across the back, seamlessly integrated into the gently tapered quarter panels. The rear bumper hugged the lower body line, curving upward in sync with the sculpted quarter panels, while the deck lid featured a subtle W-shaped profile, visible from above, a signature touch that collectors cherish to this day. Inside, Pontiac delivered an interior that was nothing short of stunning. Real walnut trim adorned the instrument panel console, and even the lucite steering wheel, adding warmth and richness few competitors could rival. The dual radio dashboard layout cleverly positioned the heater control to resemble a matching radio unit on the right side. Three circular auxiliary gauges angled toward the driver emphasized Pontiac's growing emphasis on performance driving. The center console housed a prominent vacuum gauge, while power windows, plush carpeting, and soft padded seats completed an interior that blended sport and luxury in equal measure. Under the hood, the 1966 Grand Prix offered serious firepower. The top engine option was the 421 cubic inch high-output V8, producing 376 horsepower at 5,000 RPM and a monstrous 462 pound-feet of torque at 3,400 RPM. With a compression ratio of 10.75 to 1, the Big 421 delivered explosive mid-range torque. Paired with the silky smooth turbo-hydromatic 3-speed automatic 0 to 60 battery triumph, could be achieved in around 7 seconds, with quarter-mile times in the 15-second range. For buyers seeking brutal low-end pull with smooth highway manners, the 421 HO was nearly unmatched in its day. If you're passionate about classic American muscle, make sure to smash that like button and help us keep these legends alive. In 1969, Pontiac Grand Prix SJ. In 1969, Pontiac threw out the rulebook and delivered a bold, aggressive, and completely redesigned Grand Prix that redefined what personal luxury muscle meant. Under the direction of none other than John DeLorean, the Grand Prix morphed into a long-hood, short-deck coupe that oozed confidence. Its proportions were extreme for the era. A sharply pointed nose extended nearly 6 feet, giving it one of the longest front ends of any production car in its class. The result was a vehicle that looked like it could devour the highway before you even turned the key. The new front fascia was absolutely dominating. The sharply tapered nose housed deeply recessed quad headlamps tucked into sculpted bezels, flanked by a wide horizontally split grille with blacked-out center sections. The hood line carried an aggressive central spine that extended toward the windshield, emphasizing the car's sheer length and power. One of the Grand Prix's most unique engineering quirks was hidden beneath that endless hood, what enthusiasts nicknamed the time tunnel. Because the engine sat so far back from the grille, Pontiac had to design an oversized radiator shroud that helped duct airflow efficiently to the fan and keep the big V8 cool. It was a testament to both form and function, and a detail that has fascinated collectors for decades. The side profile showcased pronounced wheel arches, sculpted body lines, and a thick, muscular C-pillar that defined the coupe's shape. At the rear, the Grand Prix maintained Pontiac's full-width styling, with taillights housed inside dual chromed recesses, flanking the center license plate, a simple, balanced, and very clean execution. Inside, Pontiac shifted its design philosophy fully toward the driver. The cockpit-style dashboard wrapped tightly around the driver, placing all essential gauges and controls within easy reach. A full set of round rally gauges sat directly ahead, with additional instrumentation angled toward the pilot. The center console extended the entire length between the bucket seats, emphasizing the personal nature of the car. While the design was excellent, many enthusiasts lamented that the material quality in 1969 did not match the rich walnut trim of earlier Grand Prix interiors. Under the massive hood, buyers could select from a lineup of powerful V8s. The top choice was the 428 cubic inch high-output V8, displacing 7 liters, producing 390 horsepower at 5,000 RPM, and a thunderous 465 pound-feet of torque at 3,400 RPM. With a high 10.75-to-1 compression ratio and massive low-end torque, this big block delivered serious muscle. Mated to the bulletproof turbo-hydromatic 400 automatic transmission, the '69 Grand Prix SJ could sprint from 0 to 60 mph in just 6.8 seconds, while the quarter-mile flashed by in approximately 14.6 seconds muscle car numbers in full luxury packaging. (1965) Pontiac Grand Prix Tri-Power. For many Pontiac purists, the 1965 Grand Prix represents the absolute pinnacle of the model's design, a perfect blend of styling, engineering, and performance that defined the personal luxury muscle segment. While the 1963 introduced stacked headlamps and the 1966 perfected the Coke bottle curves, the 1965 struck a masterful balance between elegance and aggression. Its proportions were bold, yet beautifully restrained, and every design detail felt intentional. At the front, the '65 Grand Prix featured a completely redesigned grille that Pontiac fans often refer to as the tri-lot design, thanks to its 3 distinct horizontal openings. The stacked headlights were now framed by deeply recessed nacelles, accented with fine chrome trim that pulled backward into the fenders, giving the front fascia a complex layered appearance. The sculpted hood featured an angular central ridge that carried forward Pontiac's jet-age design language while visually lengthening the already imposing front end. The body sides showcased the growing influence of the emerging Coke bottle shape. Gentle creases over the wheel arches hinted at muscularity without exaggeration. The subtle inward tapering of the quarter panels created beautiful shadow lines that played with light, emphasizing the Grand Prix's refined sense of movement. The signature concave backlight rear window returned from previous years, flowing seamlessly into the wide C-pillars and completing one of the most balanced rooflines Pontiac ever designed. At the rear, Pontiac executed one of the most visually satisfying designs of the era. A full-width ribbed tail lamp assembly stretched across the deck lid, visually widening the car. The deck itself featured a subtle W-shaped crease, an elegant touch that Pontiac engineers described as giving the rear end visual motion even when parked. The placement of the Grand Prix badge on the trailing edge of the deck lid looked almost as if it had slid downward, stopping just before it might fall over the bumper, a small design flourish that became a favorite among enthusiasts. Inside, Pontiac spared no expense. Real walnut trim graced the dashboard, steering wheel, and console. The 3 round auxiliary gauges to the right of the speedometer were carried over, but now housed in perfectly balanced round bezels. The signature Lucite steering wheel remained, while available amenities included air conditioning, power windows, and premium upholstery options that rivaled Cadillac-level appointments. Under the hood, the 1965 Grand Prix offered one of its most legendary powertrains, the 389 cubic-inch Tri-Power V8. Displacing 6.4 liters, the Tri-Power setup used 3 two-barrel carburetors, delivering 338 horsepower at 5,000 RPM and 430 pound-feet of torque at 3,200 RPM. The compression ratio stood at a healthy 10.5 to 1. For those who craved even more, Pontiac also offered the 421 cubic-inch high-output V8, producing 376 horsepower. With the Tri-Power setup mated to the reliable turbo-hydromatic 3-speed automatic transmission, the '65 Grand Prix could launch from 0 to 60 mph in approximately 7.2 seconds and run the quarter mile in 15.2 seconds, performance numbers that rivaled many pure muscle cars of its era. And there you have it, the 5 greatest Pontiac Grand Prix models ever built. From the clean elegance of the 1963 The muscular dominance of the 1969 to the flawless balance of style and performance in the legendary 1965 Tri-Power, the Grand Prix carved out a unique place in American automotive history. But now, it's your turn. Which one would you proudly park in your garage? Did your favorite make the list, or did I overlook a hidden gem? Drop your thoughts down in the comments below, hit that like button, and don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into the forgotten legends of American muscle.